Now, item 7 is the change order.
Yeah,
for the
item 7
traffic
is another VE reconciliation item. This is, but it's different in nature. One of the items which was included in Turner's contract, as decided by, again, the committee, there was a district city committee with 3 participants from each entity. One thing was included was actually deleting traffic signal and sidewalk improvements at 53rd San Pablo. This was bulb outs at the corners for pedestrian safety, upgrading the signals with audible signals and better crossing things. Again, it was some hard decisions made, but it was viewed that those were not, the group decided that that was a good thing to save on, that they felt that the existing conditions were adequate, given that not too many kids would really cross San Pablo. That was the rationale behind that. Again, this was a $100,000 credit allowance included in Turner's contract. And it was really primarily assigned at that time to the electrical contractor because it's mostly signal upgrades. It was approved by the district city committee. 2 days before contract went to the council and in the council packet and to the board packet, the city planning director noted that this had to come out, this had to be in the project because it was a part of his interpretation for compliance with CEQA, the California Environmental Air Quality Act, is that we had to do these upgrades. So he interpreted the initial study, the mitigating neg deck, and just determined, we have to do that signal. We can't take that out. We got to put it in. So the city manager instructed us actually to put this back in. However, it would have meant changing Turner's contract value. So we brainstormed saying, well, what else can we do? Can we save $100,000 someplace else? And so we changed that line item to site concrete value engineering to look at ways to have site concrete be less, being that that was part of the curbs and work at the intersection. We said, we'll try and save that $100,000 on site concrete, not the signalization. We'll leave the changes to the signal in the project. So it was changed before it went to the board and council. It was approved in the board and council. So in other words, the board council item, it's still the same dollar value, but it's a different scope than what was originally envisioned. So all we're doing now is we're reconciling this. This is also so that the electrical engineer had this $100,000 allowance. The value of those signal upgrades is $100,919. They need to start putting that work in underground and start designing the signal work. So we want to put it back into their contract. At the same time, we had 2 meetings last week to look at savings in site concrete, and we think we're going to have some good savings in site concrete. So the intent is to realize $100,000 in savings with the concrete subcontractor, not the electrical contractor. So what this is doing is reconciling things between 2 subcontractors because the city made that last-minute change. And so that's where we're just having to do the accounting, if you will, right now.
Will we get $100,000 in savings on the site concrete?
Yeah, we looked at this. We have there's 3 areas we're trying to save in. There was a couple other value engineering items that add up to about, I think, 300 total, and we think we'll get close to that amount overall. And this is just changing the finish of the concrete, simplifying some seat walls that are very complex to form. It's a lot of kind of arcane detailing, but we've made good progress. We had a working session with the site contractor last week. I met with the architects on Friday. Have been engaging the city in this discussion as well. So we think we're gonna save at least the $100,000, probably more. But what we're doing is because the last minute change occurred, Turner already bought out the contract with the electrical engineer to make signal changes, and the city said, no, we can't, we got to put that back in. There was no mechanism to do that at that time. We're doing it at this time to make the electrical subcontractor whole again because they're about to embark on all this work. So again, we'll come back to you later on with a credit change order for concrete savings once we confirm that scope. The reason it's sequenced this way is that the site concrete is the last thing done on the job, so we still have time to work things out. Whereas right now we're going to start doing all the electrical work in the buildings.
Got it. And you may have said this, but how is the traffic signal going to be different? Because we have a traffic signal.
Right, exactly, which is exactly why the group said we have a traffic signal with walk, don't walk signs, and we have crosswalks, and we have accessible ramps. My understanding, I apologize, I don't have the detail, but my understanding of the mitigated neg deck, the CEQA document, was that being that it's a school use, that making that intersection more pedestrian friendly was desirable. And this is an interpretation of that document by the city planning director, who said, we have to do the signal upgrades, do the bulb outs change some curbs. Primarily, it's adding audible signals and changing the signal itself so that it's more pedestrian friendly. That's the bulk of the dollars here.
Does that mean there's going to be longer walk time, or?
I don't know the answer to that,
does
actually.
I mean, you have the nice crossing kind of in front of Arizmendi, or, you know, on San Pablo, where you have the light that flashes yellow in the street, and someone can kind of, independent of the traffic light, press a button and it's supposed to stop. So it's not that.
No, it's not. It's it may include that. I'm not certain. It's been a while since I looked at that, but I do know that it has audible signals, changes to the signal, the lights on the towers themselves. It may include the sidewalk. I don't recall specifically that was mentioned in the CEQA document. Again, the city and district felt that they could live without that at that time. Then right before it went to the city planning director said, wait, you got to put that back in. Contracts have been all negotiated, so we had to put something else in instead. So we're hoping to find the same dollar savings in site concrete in lieu of the traffic signal. But since the traffic signal electrical work is about to start, we need to put this in the electrical contractor's contract, and then we would get a credit change order from the site concrete contractor down the road.
Got it. Other questions? No. Any public comment on this item? Seeing none, do we have a motion to adopt this change order?
Move approval.
Second? Okay, Member Merriam is seconded. Roll call, please. Ms. Tamery?
President Affelt,
Yes.
Vice President Dice,
Yes.
Member Miriam,
Yes.
Member Pats.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes 4-0. On to item 8. Superintendent, you want to introduce this one?
Good evening again. This item, thank you. They're coming. Thank you. This item is to ask the board to consider designation of representatives to the league for next year.
Can you explain what the league is, what this representative will do, and do we have a particular nomination?
In your board packet, yeah, I'll tell you what I know, which may not be a lot. It's not an area that I have a lot of background in, but I believe we are members in the CIF League for our sports and athletics. And on the form, we have Principal Ferber has listed Mr. Todd Kane Ross, who is our parent and also our current athletic director, and Mr. Ross Benbrook, who is one of our dynamite new teachers this year, who are going to both work as co-athletic directors next year.
And so we're designating them as athletic directors, or we're
No,
designating them to be our representatives
School
to
representatives.
CIF?
That's correct. The
Oh,
latter.
okay.
Okay. All right. Do we have any discussion? Member Merriam?
What league are we in?
The little bit I know is that we participate in CIF. We've had some interesting challenges in recent years regarding our membership and participation, but my understanding is that we are currently still standing members.
Okay.
I could find out more information from Principal Ferber if you like.
Yeah, that'd be good. Thank you.
Yeah, well, I don't know our the teacher, Mr. Ross.
Todd King,
Rest.
Mr. Benbrook.
Mr. Benbrook, yeah, I don't know. But I do know Todd Ross, and yeah, I know he's, well, he's China's father and Cameron's father and an upstanding member of our community and an excellent athletic coach of many different sports and is working very hard to
Yeah.
make sure that our high school students have a wide range of sports extracurricular opportunities available for them. So I think he would be an excellent representative, and I'm happy to support Mr. Benbrook as well. Any public comment on this item? Do we have a motion?
I'll move approval of the two names provided by the superintendent.
I'll second. Roll call, please, Ms. Tamery.
President Affa,
Aye.
Vice President Dice,
Yes.
Member Miriam,
Yes.
Member Pats,
Aye.
Okay, the motion passes 4-0. We have our CIF representatives. Superintendent, do you want to go over the